Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds, hanging out with this nerd.
I'm Ted.
And today we have a GM 911. We're going to help Jared close the portal to hell.
If you have a GM 911, you can submit it to us at our email, nerdarchy@gmail.com. Just put GM 911 in the subject, or you can head over to our forums where we have a special GM 911 section.
So, Jared's real problem is the fact that he now has a threat that is, exceeds what his players can conceivably deal with. Basically the party of 3 went down into this dungeon. There was a couple devils there trying to convince them that they should break these wards to this rift, and they will be greatly rewarded. The mostly good party said no, thank you, and they just left.
They killed the imps and things that were there and left. And before everyone left, the chaotic neutral bard said, you know what? I'm gonna go do this. Went back, broke the ward,
and left the party a Dear John note.
And he when they got back to town, he left a note saying, I'm off to claim my reward, and he's retired the character. So the player's not gonna stay in that position, because it wouldn't be right, because whatever reward he's going to get is going to unbalance things. So he's going to make a new character, and they want to keep the campaign going.
So this actually is not really a big problem. First of all, you've got your next villain, and Jared, that is your player. So I would change him, maybe give him some Cambion abilities, or, Tiefling stuff, or, Warlock stuff. Well, Cambion is a half fiend, and there is no half fiend in 5th edition yet, unless you make it.
That's true. But flavored,
yes. But so you could come up with that, and I kind of like the idea of the Infernal Bard. That could be a lot of fun.
Indeed.
So here's the idea, right? If you're one of Jared's players,
stop listening.
Knock it off. Now, so what you do is, he receives his reward, and maybe it takes a while, right? And then his new mistress sends him back to the plane, this material plane, with resources, and he's got to make it ready for her. He's got to prepare it, and he's got to prove himself further worthy or whatever. In the meantime, the players, the rest of the party, they already know there's a problem, and they know they can't directly solve it and fix it, but perhaps they have to go on a quest to find out how to close the rift.
Well, they have to find out, number one, okay, I don't know what was written in the letter, but if he said, oh, by the way, the rift is open, nerds to you guys, then okay, they know. If they just say, hey, I'm heading off and I'm going to do something else, and out of game, I'm going to collect my reward, guys, sorry.
Well, it sounded like from the email that the note actually said, I'm going to collect my reward.
Okay.
So they can kind of infer.
Right. So they find out that the portal is fully open and things can come through. And things are going to come through that they don't have the power to deal with. So they need to investigate as to who initially put that ward up, and either go find them, and probably that person's no longer around, so they need to find someone else. So that's going to take them out of the area so that other people are going to have to contend with what's coming out of the portal while they're gaining levels and traveling away, so that they can come back stronger to be able to bring someone to...
Yeah, maybe there's a full-scale war going on now. Maybe this small town or village is now in they've called for aid from larger kingdoms, and there's a full-on war going on with the forces of hell. Maybe the rift doesn't work how the players thought it would work, how the devils led them to believe it would work, and it's really small now, and only one small demon at a time, or devil at a time, can get through. Maybe the size of the rift actually doesn't matter. It's the amount of power that's being poured into it, and there's not enough to get a large scale force through, and maybe that's why the bard has to come through and make the way ready. There's maybe some rituals or stuff. There's maybe the rift right now is just a tear, but to make it a full blown portal, there's a lot of work that has to go into it.
Well, I would say a good idea. Continuing on with the players leave the area, so you have the ability to enact whatever change you want over this area. Meanwhile, your villain, the bard's player character, or now NPC, he's your villain. He's rallying troops from the monstrous humanoids and trying to get those to follow him to bolster an army in this area, blood sacrifices and whatever have you, to make, as you said, the portal bigger, or be able to withstand more power coming through it. And you're going to have these two forces at odds.
Or he could come through with a very small force, take over the town or village, and he's forcing them to do the work necessary to make the portal happen. And you could totally do like like in Lord of the Rings when they go back to the Shire, and it's been kind of overrun and taken over by what's his face? I forget the name. Yeah. Do you remember?
I don't remember the name. It's been a while.
I know you guys. You're going to start yelling at us and revoke our nerd card, and you can tell us down in the comments. Wormtongue? Was it Wormtongue?
Yes, Grimmer Wormtongue. If you actually, in the actual book version.
Yeah, in the book version. Right. So that's the one that really counts anyway. But yeah. But, you could do something along that lines where the bard is now subjugated this town and village and is practically working these people to death. And it's so, it's miserable. The conditions are miserable. There's some devils and demons, or some devils there. They're the weaker ones. Lemures, were they devils, or were they? Because you got the Lemures and the Mains.
Right.
And they were kind of like comparable. Right. But one was a demon and one was a devil. You could actually have an imp assistant. You could have some other weaker, lesser devils.
The mains are the demons.
So one of the things that could happen is when they could actually go off, do this thing, come back, and they find the town in this dire straits, and maybe they're able to drive them out, but they're still around, and they're still so you can keep this protracted and going on for a while. And perhaps they did gain some partial success, so more monsters are coming through. Like, one of the things you could do too is have the PCs not only getting the information that they were seeking, but now they also maybe have some allies. So you could like slowly but surely ratchet this up, and basically have it a campaign spanning arc if you wanted to.
So at low levels, you've got Spined Devil, Lemure, Imp,
Pit Fiend.
Pit Fiend is not a low level.
Oops. I always confuse those things. The low level and high level.
Crazy.
So this is definitely...
And even up to Bearded Devil is a challenge 3. So, you really can just step up. And as the campaign goes on, you can keep having this bard be a challenging, and he's gaining power as he's getting stuff going. So he's going to be gaining levels as the party gains levels, and you can either keep giving him hit dice and the actual bard abilities, or you can just slap on cool abilities from things within the monster manual.
Right, you could like up the kind of demon devil he is, or demon, as a template, and just slap some bardic abilities on top of that if you wanted to, and have fun with it.
Be cool to inspire his own troops.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of some of the songs he might sing. Being of the devil ilk now. So hopefully, Jared, that helps you out and gives you some ideas. Really, I don't think it's as big a problem as you think it is. When you look at it as, they have to directly affect this, sure, that's immense. They have to close the portal to hell, but maybe that's not the key. The key is to find the knowledge or the secret to closing the portal to hell, and then dealing with all these little consequences that are happening in the background.
As a DM, you always have the ability to alter things. So, like, all right, yeah, it's a portal to hell, but it's not going to be, here's an open gateway where everything's rushing through, where heat is pouring off and destroying everything. If you don't want it to, it isn't.
Right now, it's like a manhole cover, like you can only get so much through that sucker.
Indeed. So you've got ways to manipulate it and have time. When, with the situation in Dave's game, he presented this thing where it was like, all right, that's an enemy that we have to contend with at some point in time, but it's so powerful it could literally crush us with a thought. How do we contend with that? And it's like, we have time before we have to deal with that. All right, well, let's do what we can. And now we're running off here and doing this and doing that. That Empyrean, that Titan, we'll get to it eventually, because we can't deal with it now.
I think that was literally like 6 sessions ago or 8 sessions ago.
Something like that.
That that villain was introduced. Yeah, yeah. So, and you guys are like, "Oh my, holy crap, we have to do something about this." But I set it up as the DM in a way that said that like they have machinations and plans that they're working on, some of which the players know about, and many they do not.
Well, of course, that's always how it works.
Yeah, so and you don't actually have to even know all the answers as the GM. Like you can fill in the blanks later and be like, "Oh, that's a cool idea. I'm going to add that in," or you know what, that's not going to work anymore. I'm going to abort it. So like I would write down some notes and some ideas. I wouldn't go into great depth or detail unless it's immediately coming up.
But you know what? There's going to be a bunch of comments down below of people who are going to give Jared some extra ideas. So why don't you guys do that? If you feel that there's anything out there that Jared really should know or how he should handle this problem, put it down below. While you're at it, like, share, even subscribe.
You can check us out over on Facebook.
So until next time, stay nerdy.